$77,000 on the line. Would you make this bluff? We are playing a $2,500 poker tournament where we're on the final two tables with 11 players left. We have already guaranteed $6,000 but are gunning for the first prize of $77,000. Action starts off with us five-handed first to act. We look down at King 9 of hearts and open to 20,000. Folds to the big blind, who is a solid regular tournament poker player, and they call. Flop comes Ace Jack 9 with 2 diamonds. The big blind checks and we bet out for 15,000. The big blind calls and the turn comes an offsuit queen. We could check back and try get the showdown with our pair of nines, but I think that would be the weaker play. We get to this turn with a lot of strong hands that want to continue betting, such as aces, jacks, any big ace and 2 pair, and also our king 10 that drills a gut shot. These hands would also want to bet big, charge the draws, and get value from weaker holdings. So we need to also balance betting big with weaker hands. In this spot, a big bet on the turn will already start to put a lot of pressure on the big blinds, weak aces, jack x and 9x that have no additional draw. So we choose a size of $75,000 and the big blind eventually calls. River is an offsuit 8, now bringing in a 4-liner to a straight. Once again, the big blind checks and we have a decision to make. After calling our big bet on the turn, we should expect that the big blind is arriving here with a better hand than ours. When deciding to bluff or not, it is important to think about two things. What do our stronger hands want to do? And is this hand a good candidate to bluff? We mentioned that on the turn we have a lot of strong hands that want to bet big. However, this river now changes something. Of course, any straights we have is happy to bet this river, but hands like ace jack, queen jack, and ace king are no longer confident in betting and would most likely check back. So we should reduce the amount of bluffs we take too. We should then think about whether this specific hand is a good bluff candidate. Whilst having the king is quite obviously good because we block the nuts, the 9 may not necessarily be the best. We reduce the combinations of jack 9, queen 9, and ace 9 that the big blind is likely to fold against a big river bet. Therefore, it would be much better to bluff a hand like king 7 of hearts or even under pairs like pocket 7s that decide to barrel the turn. King 9 should also consider giving up because we actually do beat some hands like 9-7 of diamonds. Needless to say, that is not what we do. We go against this logic because of another important factor. At this stage of the tournament, the big blind and I are above average stack, and going into the final table, we should avoid playing big pots against each other. The big blind is also good enough to know this, and that it is less likely I am messing around with a bluff here. Given this, we want to choose a size that our straights and even hands like queens and jacks may bet to try get value from 2 pair. So we go for 165k. The big blind tanks and tanks using multiple time banks. Our heart is pounding because we could have just made an enormous punt in this $2,500 tournament. But eventually, the big blind reluctantly folds and we win this massive pot going into the final table. Would you have made this bluff?